Okay.
Right?
Yeah. All right.
It's okay?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. You can stay open. So I'm going to be talking briefly about the features of the philosophy of Ibn Rushd. The important thing here is to see how the theory of rationality that Ibn Rushd proposed, how this theory developed, or to see the various elements that make up this theory. This is something that I can't find in any of the works, any of the existing studies on Ibn Rushd. There's no doubt we can find the building blocks, or we can find the various pieces of information about this, the components of the theory, but there's not been any attempt to put them together in a clear way, and also to identify them as the various components of the same theory. As a result of which, if you identify them separately, you can be able to see the systematic connection, the systematic approach of Ibn Rushd in his philosophy of rationality. So I have called these the schemas. I've called it the schemas, and I'm going to talk specifically about three important aspects of these schemes. I called each one a schema. So I'm going to be talking briefly about this. The first and probably the most important one is the schema that developed out of the Quranic verse in chapter 3 verse 7. It's very important to pay attention to this, because as I've decided to name it, I've decided to name it as the schema, or the principle that creates the space for contestations. Actually, I've named it as providing the space for contestations. I choose this phrase of phraseology because the import of this verse has been used by all of those contestants for the intellectual leadership, or for contesting for the competence to interpret the law or to interpret theology. This verse is in Surah Al-Imran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He is the one who has revealed to you, referring to Muhammad the messenger, the book. منه آيات محكمات هن الكتاب. In this book are verses that are of clear import, verses that can be understood by almost everybody, or verses that are decisive in their meanings and clear, and they are less likely to be susceptible to different interpretations. وَأُخَرْ مُتَشَابِهَاتٍ. And in it also are other verses that are allegorical, or that are not as clearly indicative in their meanings, and therefore God knows best. They would require special to be interpreted by those who are advanced in knowledge, or by those who are gifted in the in knowledge. So وأخر متشابهات فأما الذين في قلوبهم زيغ فيتبعون ما تشابه منه ابتغاء الفتنة وابتغاء تأويله وما يعلم تأويله إلا الله والراسخون في العلم. So this verse goes further to say that those allegorical verses are verses that could be used for dissension by people who intend to do so, and who are given to dubious means and intention, bad intention. But those who are confirmed in knowledge, nobody knows the exact meanings of these verses except God, and those who are confirmed or who are strongly established in knowledge, so they would say both the allegorical and the clear verses, both of them are from our Lord, so we believe in them. So the scholars, they've all contested this verse, and they've all attributed the idea of the people confirmed in knowledge to one group of people or another. For example, the traditional scholars are of the opinion that those who are established in knowledge are the people of hadith, the people of tradition, the people who know the Quran and they know the Sunnah, the ways of the Prophet ﷺ and the ways of the Sahaba, and who are going to apply this knowledge in the same way or similarly to the way that it was, understood or supposed to have been understood by the companions. And therefore, they would refer their interpretation of these verses that are considered to be allegorical to whatever the scholars of the past among the companions have understood it to be. And therefore, they will not go beyond that to, try to apply philosophy or any other forms of knowledge or sciences into interpreting these verses.